Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a psychological and drama film, The Experiment. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins with Travis and an elderly patient having a good time playing shuffleboard. Travis works part-time at a retirement home. Once they're done, Travis hands over some pills for the elderly patient to take before reporting to his boss. Unbeknownst to him, devastating news is waiting for him. Later, the boss informs Travis that he is being laid off due to the state's cross-cutting effort to lessen personnel. Since he works there part-time, he's one of those that are let go. On a different occasion, Travis and his friend join a group of protesters, calling for the American troops to be sent home from the war in the Middle East. Travis is a pacifist hipster and believes in non-violence. When Travis returns home, he reads a very enticing advertisement in the newspaper for a behavioral experiment that pays $1,000 per day to participate. That's impossible to resist, especially for an unemployed person like him. The experiment is said to last for 2 weeks, so that means $14,000 easy money for Travis. Soon after, Travis goes to apply, and just as expected, there are hundreds of applicants. While filling out a form to join the experiment, Barris, another participant, sits beside Travis, introduces himself, and the two get along well. Barris leaves with his mom and has a timid personality. He's soft-spoken and seems like a religious person. Moments later, Doctor, the person responsible for the experiment, explains to them that the purpose of the experiment is to simulate the conditions of life inside a penitentiary. All applicants must have no prior experience being incarcerated. This has to be the first time they experience being isolated or jailed for the program to be effective. The doctor then interviews one applicant at a time to see if the experiment fits their profile. Meanwhile, Travis passes the initial screening, moves on to the next stage, and is tasked to watch some violent footage. He experiences different kinds of emotions as the footage shifts from genre to genre. He's able to make it and move on to the next assignment. All the participants arrive at the rendezvous point. A bus then takes them to a remote facility in the middle of a cornfield. Before the experiment begins, the doctor briefs them that some of the participants will have no civil rights during the experiment, and if some want to leave, now is their chance. Nobody appears to back down at this point. They are all excited about what lies ahead. The doctor then adds that to ensure everyone is safe, the experiment will be terminated in case of violence. The group of applicants is then divided into 2 different teams, the prisoners and the guards. Barris joins 5 others and is tasked by the doctor to become the prison guards, while Travis is with the other group, who will become the prisoners. Their number is around 20. The facility is filled with high-tech cameras, monitoring them every day for 24 hours. The prison guards are told to ensure that rules are implemented and punishments are imposed adequately inside the facility. Otherwise, they will not get paid. That announcement of a chance not to get paid is a surprise, as it was not explained before. However, it's too late now for them to back up. The game is on. The prisoners line up after taking a shower. Chase, one of the guards, reads the rules out loud for them to strictly follow. The prisoners seem to be dismissive of the rules. Later, the prisoners are then tasked to find their individual cells, which they will be staying the following days. Later, Travis shares a cell with Nix, who seems to be so calm and not bothered by the idea of being in prison, and Benji, a graphic novelist who is thrilled to get some material from the experiment. He is diabetic, but chose to hide this to test himself inside. While playing basketball, one of the inmates, Old Man, accidentally hits the beardy face of one of the guards named Beardy. His nose is bloodied. Old Man intended to pass the ball as a friendly gesture, but the pass is too strong for the prison guard to react. Chase suggests that they devise a punishment, as prisoners are not supposed to touch them. Beardy insists that he is fine and that it was an accident. Besides, the prisoner did not physically touch him, as the ball hit his nose. Barris agrees with Beardy as well, but Chase is adamant. Chase reasons that taking no action might end the experiment, and all of them will not get paid. Chase then punishes Old Man by having him do 10 push-ups. The Old Man begs for consideration as it was not intentional, and he is old with a knee injury. This does not sit well with Chase, and as a result, everyone is punished. That sets the tone on the first day, and the mood is starting to shift. The second day starts with the prisoners having a meal. Besides Nix, everyone is disgusted by the food, especially the beans. When they line up to return their plates, Helwig, one of the guards, notices that they all did not touch the beans. He asks them that they are required to finish all the food before returning the plates. However, Travis drops the food into Helwig's hand and everyone follows suit, throwing their food all over the place as a way to protest. The guards secretly gather to come up with a sanction. They need to be in control or the experiment might end soon and they won't get paid. Barris suggests they go through with a punishment, otherwise the prisoners will never respect them. Barris indicates that instead of using violence, they humiliate the inmates. Later, the prison guards use fire extinguishers and spray every cell to shake everybody up. Barris and the others handcuffs and confronts their primary target, Travis, for inciting the inmates earlier. Barris then warns all the prisoners to never disrespect them. Once the guards are back to their stations, Barris is gratified by the sense of authority and power he just felt. That is exhilarating for him, and he wants more of the same feeling. On the third day, Barris gathers all the prisoners and reminds them to abide by the rules so they can all go home with their money once the experiment is done. He notices that Benji is not with them. It turns out Benji is still on the bed and too weak to move. He is diabetic and requires insulin. Barris forces Benji to join the rest of the prisoners, which irritates Travis as Benji is clearly too sick to stand. Travis then confronts Barris and tells him to be rational. Barris did not like the idea of his authority being questioned, and so he grabs a baton and is ready to take a swing at Travis. Fortunately, other guards separate the two before the situation goes out of control. Back in their cells, Travis begins to question the purpose of the experiment. Nix tells him that the goal is to find out who'll survive in a dire situation. It's the survival of the fittest. Travis questions Nix if he has been in prison before because of his knowledge of what it's like and the Aryan tattoo he has. Nix warns him to stop asking questions. He then advises Travis to go along with the experiment and stop acting like a hero by trying to save Benji. Late at night, the guards decide to scare Travis as they are threatened by his rebellious tendencies. While sleeping, the guards drag Travis away from his cell and take him to an interrogation room where he is tied to a chair. Travis cannot believe what's happening. This is supposed to be just an experiment, and violence is not supposed to be tolerated. Barris then asks Hellwig to shave Travis's head. Afterward, Barris warns him to show some respect to the authorities. Sensing that Travis refuses to back down, Barris kicks and pisses on him. This is his way of showing dominance. He then encourages the other guards to do the same thing. From then on, Barris is no longer the same person. He finds his authority rather compelling and tends to abuse it profoundly. As of that moment, he is the self-proclaimed leader of the guards. After getting Travis back to his cell, Beardy expresses his disappointment at what just happened and warns Barris that if it happens again, he's out. After a meal, Travis saves his bread and shares it with Benji, who is now in terrible shape. Benji reveals that he needs more than just a piece of bread, but insulin. Benji also shares that he purposely hid the fact that he's diabetic, thinking that everything would be okay. His plan was to tough it out, but it now backfires on him. Benji is in desperate need of insulin, and the only way for that is if someone retrieves the medicine from his bag. Later that night, Travis offers Beardy $1,000, then $2,000 of his own money for Beardy to retrieve the insulin from Benji's bag. Beardy walks away, saying he does not need the money, but decides to do it anyway, as he also feels bad for Benji. Beardy then begins to look for Benji's bag without noticing the camera monitoring his every move. Meanwhile, unable to control his manly urges, Chase grabs one of the prisoners and takes him to another room, where he forces the prisoner to pleasure him. The prisoner refuses to and curses at Chase, but the larger prison guard then holds the poor prisoner's chick neck and puts him against the wall. Suddenly, Barris walks in before the dirty deed can begin. Chase tells Barris that the prisoner has something to report about Travis as an excuse for the peculiar incident. Afraid to get hurt, the prisoner plays along with Chase. Not soon after, Hellwig calls the attention of Barris and shows that Beardy is in the storage room getting Benji's insulin. Barris then confronts Beardy and asks him to surrender what he retrieved from that room. Barris confiscates the insulin and asks Beardy who convinced him to do that. Given the predicament, Beardy is left with no choice but to rat on Travis. Eventually, Barris gives the insulin to Benji in his cell, but warns Travis that they need to talk about it. Barris finds it insulting that Travis persuaded Beardy to betray his authority. Later, Barris shaves his head in an effort to convince Travis that he's reasonable. Barris then confronts Travis in the bathroom about what he did. Travis explains that Benji could have died if he didn't do that. Barris does not believe that Benji's condition is that serious. Barris reasons out that they are being monitored 24 hours a day and that he's confident that the experiment administrators wouldn't let them have someone dying, or the experiment would be terminated. For breaking the rules, Barris asks Travis to clean the toilet as a punishment. When Travis refuses to, Hellwig grabs Travis' head and puts his face against the toilet bowl. He's then forced to say that he is a prisoner, but Travis still refuses to. Hellwig then pushes his face repeatedly until Travis gives in. Late into the night, Barris wakes up Beardy and then takes him to a room where the other guards are waiting. Beardy begs them not to hurt him, but they have already premeditated the beating. The guards then beat Beardy into a pulp. Afterward, he is introduced to the prisoners as prisoner number 7-6. Barris is getting a different high from his power and starts yapping about rules and whatnot. Travis removes his prison uniform while Barris is talking. Barris then asks Travis to put on the uniform back, but Travis refuses to back down, and the rest of the prisoners, except Nix, do the same thing as a means of protest. Travis then climbs up the prison wall, speaks to the camera, and begs to open the gate. The situation inside is clearly getting out of hand. Now should be the best time to sound the alarm and declare that the experiment is over. While Barris is confronting Travis, Benji musters up the courage to step in and punch Barris at the back of his head. In response, Barris knocks out Benji using his baton. The tension is at an all-time high at this point. All the prisoners are now punished, while Travis is put in an isolation chamber. Despite the total darkness, Travis looks for a camera and speaks through it, questioning why the experiment has not been stopped when there's chaos. Clearly, this is not what they signed up for. Meanwhile, Chase is about to rape the prisoner he took to a room earlier. Travis can hear the prisoner crying and is determined to get out of the chamber. His efforts bear fruit as Travis opens the chamber, using the amulet that Blonde gave before the experiment. Travis then follows the sound of the prisoner's voice and catches Chase on the verge of raping him. Travis punches him in the face. The prisoner then puts his handcuff around his neck and chokes Chase unconscious. Travis uncuffs him afterward and checks on the prisoner. Next, Travis comes across Nix, who is also handcuffed. He asks him if he still wants to go along or join them. Nix, who has been passive all this time, chooses to join them. Nix also had enough of the guards' abuses and prefers to fight rather than die a dog's death. Immediately, Travis checks on a badly beaten Benji and finds out that Benji is now dead. But before the surveillance system, the doctor and his experiment team are nowhere to be found. The rest of the prisoners gather around and they are ready to take matters into their own hands. With one of their own dead, the prisoners want blood. Later, Hellwig notifies Barris that the prisoners are now gearing up to attack them. Barris still refuses to acknowledge that everything is out of his control. He wants the guards to confront the prisoners, but is reminded that they are being outnumbered. Barris still wants to hold on to the idea that the prisoners are scared of them. As the prisoners are about to break the door that separates them from the guards, Hellwig decides to abandon Barris. The rest of the guards follow and run for their lives. Sensing that his life is in danger, Barris also tries to escape. The prisoners catch up with the guards, and an all-out brawl begins. The prisoners begin to beat up the guards, while Travis has his eyes on Barris. Travis is no longer himself. He used to believe in a peaceful resolution, but after all the abuses he and the other prisoners went through, now is the time to break even. Travis takes a swing at Barris, but Barris manages to block the punch and stabs Travis with a knife. Fortunately, Travis catches the blade with his hand and removes the blade stuck in his hand. Nix then takes Barris down and is about to beat him up. But in a state of bloodlust, Travis pushes Nix away and then goes on to mount Barris. There, Travis unleashes brutal punches until he hears the sound of the alarm, signaling that the experiment is over. Reality kicks in, and everyone stops fighting as the gate opens. They suddenly remember that all of it was an experiment, and they shouldn't have been fighting in the first place. The prisoners and the guards start to exit the site, traumatized by what just happened. On the bus, they receive the promised payment. Travis and Barris are lost for words and can just look at each other. The movie ends with the doctor, who is responsible for the psychological experiment, is arrested for manslaughter. Benji died due to the recklessness of the experiment, and many more could have died. It also shows Travis and Beardy being interviewed, stating their desire to testify. This is Daniel's CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.